Hi, so we have another game of my friend in under 600 territory. Yeah, playing white again. So again the same opening, and again I would think that here you can play that move that you played last time, knight c3. If black plays just one more knight f6, then there will be that knight b5 that I showed you before. If you remember from the previous game, this should be game over. We'll just guide you through this one more time. And I hope, let's say black plays that bishop c5 move, which is quite common. And I hope you still remember the attacking move here. So just take a few moments. Bam. Damn. King goes, if the king goes here, you got it with a check. If the king goes after the knight, you got another check here. Now it's a bit of fantasy chess, but yeah, I would prefer this knight c3 move, because you don't have to worry about this knight jumping here. But no problem, you play in classical London. It's more maybe with knight f3 than the e3. Also, I would recommend you Alex Banzeas. He's playing this Jobava London system, and I think he has also courses on London itself. And Jobava, the way he plays it is really, really strong, especially on this level. So I would recommend this opening to you. Okay, so one of the principles is don't move the same piece twice in the opening. So if you wanted to move your bishop here, you should do it now. Don't, if you decide that your bishop belongs here, just keep it there. Because taking, the bishop here, let's have a look. The bishop here is pinning the knight, but that's the entire function of the bishop. So you don't want to remember also the value of the pieces. The queen is 9, rook is 5, bishop is about 3¼ and knight is about 3. So if you have 3¼ and you will be, so here, if you have 3¼ and you would be trading for 3, it's not good for you. And this bishop is really well placed here. It's gonna be attacking the king eventually. So I would keep the bishop here and don't move it second time. Now you should be thinking, do I want to castle long, which doesn't look all that great when you have the pawn here? Or do I want to be castling short, which looks better? So if you would decide to castle short, you should find a way how to develop your knight. So maybe the knight is good here, so you will put more pressure here. So develop the knight there. H4 is a nice move, I like that, not H5. Now it seems, if you see this evaluation bar shooting up, the black has made some mistake. You have thought about 48 seconds about this. So there is something that you need to focus on in your chess, and that would be a simple checklist. The first, you are looking for checks. Second, you are looking for captures. And third, you are looking for threats. So if you at this stage just focus on every move, on any possible capture and any possible check, then you will be beating already those players. So here you can see there's one capture here. But as you remember, the bishop is just as worth as much as the knight. So if you capture here, he captures back, and it's just even. So next capture, I can see that you can capture here with the bishop. The queen captures back. Pawn is worth 1. Bishop is worth more than 3 pawns. So you would be losing. So if you capture here, queen captures back. So this capture does not count as well. And then there is one more capture that you have probably seen. And that says this queen can capture the knight, but nothing is capturing nothing is protecting the knight. So if you're just looking at the simple checks and captures, if you do this simple checklist, then you will find that you could have won a free knight here. Now, I don't see any checks here. So simply by capturing the knight, you would be already winning in this game. And usually what you need is just one pawn to win you the game, and then know the technique, you know how to trade all the pieces, and then you will be winning simply all of your games. So you play g4, which is a nice move. g5, carpet cheering on g5 is nice because now we are opening the rook here against the king. And I remember I was reviewing this game just briefly, and there is like one really strong move that you have missed. You played bishop back again. So you can see that you develop the bishop here, then you move the bishop here. Now you are realizing the bishop is much better here. So you move your bishop 3 times, basically without much thinking. So one of the things you should always think about is if you develop these pieces, they should be fine as they are unless they are being attacked. And then you should look at the other pieces to move out. And then your next job is to protect the king. However, here you have one developing move that's bringing another piece into the game. And it's creating a very strong threat to the enemy's king. So what do you think would be the move? You actually found quite a nice move. That bishop d3 is a strong move. But there's even a stronger move. So I'll just give you a few more moments. Pause the video if you like, and I will let you know what's the best move here, in my honest opinion. So in my honest opinion, you have 2 really good moves. One is queen d3, one is queen c2. Queen c2 might be even better because you are sort of concealing the big threat that you have against the king. And you aren't simply threatening mate in 1. So that's your biggest threat. Now, how can black defend from being checkmated? Let's say black will create some space here with the king so they can run away this way. So if you check them, they cannot capture you back because you are protecting with the rook. If they go here, you are checkmating them. Now the king is in check. The knight cannot capture anything from here, and you will just simply be winning. So rook here doesn't work. Can we protect this pawn somehow? It's only protected once by the king, and if we capture here, it's going to be a checkmate. So as you can see, this bishop cannot just magically jump here or there to protect on h7. And the knight is so strangely positioned that it also cannot move to protect this pawn. So once you move a queen here or there, doesn't matter. Then the only way to intersect this queen is basically either knight f5, in which case you are getting a free knight for a pawn. If black captures here, you remember what I've told you about in a previous game, about the pawn islands. Now, the opponent... How do I do the blue? Okay, I'm green. So the opponent will have 3 pawn islands, and his position looks quite badly. You also have all these. Let's see if it works like this. Can't seem to be able to get the blue squares. So all these squares will be looking very weak for the opponent. All these green squares around the king. So all you need is the bishop. Maybe you can put the knight here. You have also this open h file. So already you have achieved position that should be easily winning. And you also won the knight. And the second way to try and intersect this queen will be to play f5. So what can you do here in order to renew this threat on h7? So one way you can approach this is to capture here. I hope you know the rule of ampersand. That is when the pawn moves by to landing on the square next to this pawn, then you can just capture it like so. So now we can capture. The f5 pawn will just disappear. We are forking 2 pieces, so black can maybe capture this way. And now we have still opened this attack against the king, so we can just, boom, take. And now the king is going to be safer by going into one of those squares. But as I was saying before, you have this open h file. and you have your pieces nicely positioned into the attack. So you can just keep continuing attacking, and you have extra pawn as well. Maybe you can bring now the pawn into the game by just going g5. So those are the options. So let's say I will just give you one line. If you play g5, rook goes here because doesn't want to be captured obviously. You can now bring the bishop to attack this rook one more time. And black again, black cannot put this knight here. And in this case, you would be winning a rook if the rook goes here. You can attack the rook in many ways. You can play knight g3. You can play bishop d3 again. Then you will be attacking the rook twice, and the rook will eventually have to give itself maybe for this pawn. So something like this. But now look, you have another open file. So what would be really helpful is to get your knight out, then castle quickly, and then bring this remaining rook into the game on the g file. And you should be simply winning as well. So let's go back in the game a little bit. So as you can see, sometimes like a simple attack is what needs to be done. So here, remember queen d3. Once this h file is open, just start looking for ways to kill the black king. And bishop d3 is also a nice move. So now that the e5 was played, you capture here, and this is what lots of beginning players do, that they just capture, every single time they have the opportunity, they just capture. But if you thought about the game a little bit, then this would be sort of another like automatic move for you, because now that you're giving the check to the king has to go here. And now, because you have the rook over here, you will have like loads of discoveries with that bishop if you want to in the future. So now is maybe the time to capture here with the pawn. Or you can try and do as well another trick. You can give black the opportunity to get greedy themselves and take this bishop. So now if they take this bishop, you are completely winning. And there's like one really nice trick. How would you get this queen over here in just one or two moves? So just again, think about it for a second. And there is like a really nice move order. So just pause the video if you need. So one of the ideas would be to play bishop g8. Now we are giving a check to the king, so maybe the knight can give itself for free, but that's not really fun, right? So if you take here, the queen already lands here, and it's a checkmate because the king has nowhere to go, and there's nothing protecting the h7 square. So you can be sometimes even like a little bit tricky if your focus is on attacking the king. So after e5 you take, not a problem, but again, not taking with the rook, but taking with the bishop. Because every single time you give the check, you are forcing the opponent to defend or to move the king. And again, it goes with the checklist that I have mentioned earlier. You always look first for checks, and then secondary look for captures. On this level, if you do just these two things, checks first, evaluate all the checks, and then all the captures, then you will always find the right moves, and you will be defeating most of your opponent's players. So, for example here, what you can do, if you find this check, king has to go here. Now bishop f5, you are giving another check to the king. So you see you making that king dance, and now you are threatening to win this bishop. So what can black do is to protect the bishop, because the knight is protecting the bishop. So how would you now apply more pressure against this bishop? There's like one really simple move that you can do. And it's actually a cool move as well. So if you're thinking about the captures and about potential checks and pins, so now you can see that this bishop is pinned to the king. And this is what we call absolute pin. The bishop cannot move because you would be in a check with your king. So what you can do, you just simply play knight here. The knight has two roles here. It defends the bishop. It attacks the bishop. And also look, the queen also attacks the bishop. So now your position is absolutely crushing because you have two bishops aiming both at the king. You have a pawn here that is, this pawn is worth more than the normal pawn. Maybe it's worth two pawns. And you have also the queen aiming. You have open file. So the rook is aiming. You should be totally crushing this in this type of game. So after you play a move like knight g3, if say black takes here, you can already bring the queen. The king has absolutely nowhere to escape. You can give the knight for free, but what's the point? And now you can just simply checkmate again. The king cannot go here because the pawn protects. And everything else is covered by the queen, and the queen is obviously protected by the rook. So again, very simple chess, focus on threats, go after the opposing side. So after e5 takes, we take with the rook, which is okay. Now knight f5 happens. So I believe you have spotted correctly that the rook is in danger. And you decided to move the rook out of the danger. So I kind of like it. In some cases, I would like to take this knight, but you don't have to. But also, I would retreat this rook slightly differently. I would probably place the rook here. And the reason why you're placing this rook here, because maybe if you put the queen here, you will already have, again, two attacking pieces. So we can have a look quickly. We'll give black one move here and one move there. So now when you play queen h1, you're already threatening mate in 2 again. So let's say we given another move here. So rook h8, queen h7 would be again checkmate. But there is a second reason why you want to play rook here. Not just because you want to double up the pressure eventually on the h-file, but you want to avoid move like bishop f3 hitting your rook. So that's one of the ideas, because now you'll have another threat if he plays here. Your bishop is looking at the knight, and you can distract this bishop from protecting the knight. So now if the bishop takes here, you want a free knight. And again, you are attacking here, which looks really, really crushing. And this bishop eventually could be chased down as well. So you go rook h1, king g7, and now black, what black wants to do now, he wants to get some time to defend themselves here on the h-file. So your job here, this is actually, doesn't look like that much of a great move, because when you play this and he takes, he can maybe just trade the queens like so. So that's one of the moves that I think you have made in some sort of panic, but I don't know how much time you have spent on that move. But again, you spent like 1 minute on this move. Okay, that's fine. So again, I would suggest, look at any checks and captures and so on, but also think about your pieces. So first of all, what is really important, as you have learned here, is the safety of your king. So what you need to do about safety of your king, you can make a move like this. You are developing your knight, and you are also renewing this threat of playing f3 and then winning this knight here. But you also are winning once you play f3, because the knight is protecting here. Might be this bishop, because this bishop all of a sudden is also without squares to go to. So let's say we give some smarter move to black. Let's say black will play this. So now we are having a bit of a problem, because if we take, and now we play f3, black has lots of counterplay here, checking the king. That's why we need to always look at our king and protect our king. So what you could have done here is maybe to attack the bishop with rook g1, and also prevent trading on this file, because we are not ready yet to castle, and this is the way we make the king safer, but it's not ideal, and we are losing already some of the advantage potentially. But here it says we are still pretty much winning. And the reason might be the amount of pieces we have. So we have 7 pieces against 7 pieces, but we won a couple of pawns already. So that's the reason why we should be winning after move like rook g1. Betrayed, and now we are in slight problems because the queen might start attacking us here. So one of the things that you can do here still is to try and get this king to castle as soon as possible. So one way to do this is you can play queen to c2. That way you're also creating threat here against this knight. So if, again, black plays something that doesn't make sense, you just take, and you are winning. So again, focus on captures and checks. That's the most important thing. And the reason why you can play queen c2 and don't have to worry about this check is that you can always intersect with the knight, and then you are ready to castle next. And also you have still this big threat here, so you don't have to worry about the check on that side so much. But as you can see, it's important. Keep on developing, and every single time I develop a piece, you can also try and put pressure on opponent's pieces. So, voila. Okay, so here you play f3, attacking the bishop. It was slightly strange way, but you see, you are not developing your queen. That could be a problem. So where are we in the game? Rook h1, sorry about that. Oh, I was actually somewhat away in the game. You played e4. Black plays rook h8. Okay, they made a mistake. But now you need to really focus, because they are trying to... They're not only offering you trade the rooks, but they are also threatening to take your rook. So again, by focusing on captures, you will realize which capture is more important and which capture is less important. If you capture here, black is not going to capture back. Black is going to capture you here. So it's good to evaluate really the captures, because if you capture here, black can capture here. And now they are also attacking your queen from behind. So no matter what you do, the only way to save the queen actually would be to play something like this. But then the problem is also we uncovered the queen from this way. Because if you remember, this knight is in front of your queen. So there's no way to save the queen if you take on f5. So what happened in the game? You take on h8. Now you're taking the knight, which is good. King running up here, which is fine. Queen f3 looks okay, a little bit of a problem already, because black might want to take here and then take there, but it's only an exchange. So again, I will show, if you play move that doesn't matter, it's just you take, and you take. So again, evaluate those captures all the time, even though black here might have a couple of moves that look dangerous, like one would be taking and attacking. One could be taking here and attacking there. So there's still quite a few moves afterwards that black might have. So the position can come apart a little bit. So after queen f3, you play f6, which is a really nice move. You are winning the bishop, and now you are winning the bishop with the check. So it's fine. Bishop e3 is okay move, and I really like it, because now, there's no taking here of that bishop. Now, knight f5, but again, we don't have to worry if that bishop is gonna get taken. And you decide to take the knight, which you can do and you don't have to do. if you remember what I was saying a few moments ago, there are two pieces that we have not developed yet. So what I would like to see in your future games, that you start thinking about those pieces. If you find out that, take, and the king is basically still helping protect everything, the bishop and the queen, then you know that you can afford to lose that exchange, especially now that you are ready to offer the queen trades in many different ways. For example, if again we play move that doesn't matter so much, we are offering a queen trade, and it's difficult to refuse the queen trade because we also have a threat of giving a check and winning the rook in the corner. So again, just by simply developing the knight, we are giving our pieces more strength as we will be developing more pieces. And this is one of the things that you will learn that will win you lots of games. So first, if you focus on developing all your pieces that have not yet moved. Second, if you focus on captures and checks. Just at this level, those are the things that you need to do. I like how you offered the queen exchange, but here you place the knight on g1. So I was briefly looking at this earlier, and if you play move knight d4, you are forking both of the pieces, offering the queen trade as well. But important is that the knight has much nicer square here and also protects some of the light squares. So that's, you should always try and look for more active pieces, for more active piece play. So you play g6, and it again shows that when you play g6, you're starting to lose the threat a little bit. Again, you can just develop your knight forward and, get your pieces moving. You are still up 2 pieces, so, develop your pieces that are not yet active. So you gave a pawn to give a check, offering a queen trade, and after queen c2, you have timed out. So again, really nice game. I think you have played some really good moves here, but you have missed quite a lot of opportunities. You have been totally winning in this game. So, yeah, I hope I gave you enough tips to do slightly better in your next game. And one of the tips that I was giving you in the last game, I don't know if that got expressed something strange. If that got to you is, when you play your game, afterwards try and think about some, what could you have done better? Try and spend some time and try and figure out some answers. You don't have to go too deep. It's just like if you find, for example, some moment like this where you move your piece twice because you're not quite sure where the bishop should be, just try and focus on some simple principles like developing your knights first, or maybe your queen and then the knights, and make sure that you protect your king so you can come up with lots of moves that would make sense here. Like knight f3 would be nice developing move. Knight d2 is a nice developing move, supporting the pawn push in the future. Queen e2, queen c2, queen f3 sometimes can be played. Knight f3, knight e2. All of these moves, to try and develop your pieces. So I would be always thinking, to try and get my inactive pieces into the game. I think the h4 move that you found later on was also like a very strong move. I think that's something that Banzer, for example, is recommending in his games. And once luck allows you to open the h file, you should be winning lots of your games. Anyway, I don't want to keep this too long, so I will see you and talk to you in the next video. Take care.